shawl draped across her bosom in a rare show of modesty.
"I'd like to see the procession this year." "Coming, signora!"
Playful voices chorused above, between giggles. Robustelli eyed Aldo's plain tunic and hose.
"I take it you're not joining us?"
She pointed to the stiletto tucked in his left boot, its hilt visible beside his calf.
"Father Anselmo doesn't approve of his flock bringing blades to church."
"Father Anselmo approves of very little," Aldo replied. "But I doubt anyone will bring a blade to Mass." Carrying weapons had been banned in Florence since Cosimo de' Medici replaced his murdered cousin Alessandro as the city's leader in January. Cosimo had not yet seen 18 summers, but he was no fool. He remained vulnerable until his election as leader was confirmed by the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V. An edict restricting weapons within the city certainly lessened the likelihood of an armed uprising by those eager to see Florence return to being a republic. Only those enforcing the law, Cosimo's own guard, and the city militia were allowed to carry weapons. Being an officer of the Otto di Guardia e Baglia, the most feared criminal court in Florence, meant Aldo could retain his trusty stiletto. He was grateful for that. The blade had saved his life more than once.
"Are you coming or not?"
Robustelli asked. "Not today. I'm due at the Podestà." The matrona nodded, her attention shifting to a young woman bouncing down the stairs.
"No, Claudia, that won't do. Go and cover yourself properly." "Why?"
Claudia pouted. Her nipples pressed against the thin lace of her flimsy top, demanding attention.
"I'm proud of my body. Why do I have to hide it?" "Because we're going to church," Robustelli replied. "Not an orgy."
Leaving them to argue, Aldo stepped out of the bordello. It was not yet mid-morning, but the sun was already touching the stones of Piazza della Passera. The days were getting longer, and warmer too. Aldo breathed in, savouring the aroma of bread baking in some nearby oven. It had been a hard winter, but spring had come early this year, bringing fresh life to the city. It was a pleasure to be alive. Aldo strode away, heading east. Warmer days meant less pain from his unreliable left knee, so it had no need of remedies or salves. But he still cut north into Via dei Giudei, the narrow street where most of Florence's small Jewish community lived. A door stood open among the houses on the left, beckoning him into the home of Dr. Saul Orvieto. How easy it would be to go inside. Aldo missed Saul, his warm hazel eyes, the ease of their friendship. But they had parted on bad terms, sundered by duty and bloodshed. Better to keep walking, safer for both of them. At the end of Via dei Giudei, Aldo turned east again, striding towards Ponte Vecchio. This approach to the bridge was usually crowded with the stalls selling fish, vegetables, and fruit. After a long barren winter, the produce was inviting again, no more frost-bitten brassica or wizened citrus. But this was Sunday, the Lord's Day, when most shops and stalls were shut. Palm Sunday processions elsewhere helped to make Aldo's progress brisk. Aldo marched up the steady rise of Ponte Vecchio, pausing at the bridge's highest point, where a gap between buildings allowed a view of the river. The water was mottled with merda, dyes, and other liquids that drained into it from workshops. Florentines threw almost anything into the Arno. Even corpses went in the water sometimes, victims consigned to the river by those eager to banish the proof of their crimes. If a killer was lucky, or the current strong enough, a body could float miles downriver before eventually washing ashore. But most got caught on the weirs between bridges, giving river rats a chance to feast on the rotting flesh until the remains were pulled out. Aldo turned away from the Arno with a shiver. After leaving the bridge, he cut a ragged path northeast, careful to avoid larger piazze where processions were gathering before Mass.